Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump is going to ask the Supreme Court to look at the tax return decisions, which essentially is basically asking them to overturn what some New York prosecutors and a New York judge ruled upon, that he has to disclose 6 years or so of his tax returns. The Department of Justice under William Barr already stated that there's no legislative purpose. So this is a reporter for Reuters in June quoting the DOJ response. This is, quote, "This is a pretty aggressive argument from the Department of Justice, basically saying that Congress is lying about its purpose for wanting the president's tax returns, and that as a result, the IRS need not provide them, even though the statute doesn't require Congress to have any reason." Well, that's not true. That's not true. There has to be, for the oversight. Well, first of all, Congress is in charge of passing laws. That's legislation is what Congress is about. It's not a political tool of the Democratic Party. They were talking about, when Adam Schiff talks about Trump's taxes, he says, and when Nadler talks about Trump's taxes, they say, well, this will help us with existing laws regarding presidents and either the Emoluments clause or taxes or whatever nonsense they say. You know, we don't want presidents to be influenced by financial concerns. Meanwhile, you have Boeing, UBS, Uranium One, $10 billion in Haiti that was raised after an earthquake, 85 donors giving $156 million into the Clinton Foundation, and then Hillary miraculously meets these people. So with Democrats, they're like, well, her tax returns are pristine. Well, that's not the way the Clintons work. They don't. What do you think? These wealthy people who gave $156 million to meet Clinton, that they shoved the dollar bills inside the golden muumuu or inside Bill Clinton's belt? No. The conduit is the Clinton Foundation. It's not rocket science. The conduit was Fusion GPS and Clinton's law firm. She purchased the Steele dossier. It's not rocket science. This is not like... With Democrats, all you need is just a modicum of plausible deniability, and they're off to the races. Oh, you can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. But with Trump, they were talking about his tax returns even before he became president. Because they were saying, well, he owes money. He owes money to the Russians. He owes money to the Russians. So... Congress can't gather information unless it has a legitimate legislative purpose. And then just investigating wrongdoing doesn't count, but this reporter is not... There is no wrongdoing that he's accused of. Where is the criminal... Where is the criminal probe into Trump before he became president? Because before Clinton ran for president in 2016, and even before 2008, she had a litany from Watergate to Clinton Foundation issues to a whole bunch of... there was a Travelgate issue. There are endless controversies with Clinton. Where was the financial controversy with Trump prior to this? So there's no legislative purpose, and the Supreme Court's already ruled on this. I've spoken about this in a prior segment regarding Trump's tax returns. The Supreme Court has already ruled that there must be a legislative purpose. That you cannot just investigate for the sake of investigating because you're suspicious. There has to be some kind of money trail where you say, okay, there's some wrongdoing here. Where's the money trail? Oh, he got loans that he shouldn't have received. Well, then take it up with Deutsche Bank. What does Trump have to do with that? If you're going to accuse Trump of getting loans he didn't he didn't deserve, then take that up with the bank that gave him the loans. So it's like they have no purpose, zero purpose at all. The IRS literally has his tax returns. Literally, the government has his tax returns. Do you think if there was something glaring, it wouldn't have already been leaked? That's just like when a former staffer, he said a horrible word. It's on tape. No, nobody found anything. You can go and look. They every single time they try to just blame Trump or accuse him of some grandiose, horrible act, they find nothing. So here, Trump to ask U.S. Supreme Court to review tax return decision. U.S. President Donald Trump plans to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a ruling requiring his accounting firm to turn over 8 years of his tax returns to New York prosecutors, setting up the stage for a possible decision before the 2020 election. New York prosecutors say it all. They're all Democrats. They're all partisans, just like the Mueller probe. It's not about truth. It's not. See, the way Democrats work is that they're going to try every single possible, they're going to use every single advantage they have. They're going to try every dirty, underhanded tactic, in addition, especially using the United States government or state governments or local governments or local prosecutors to hide behind, or whether it's the FBI, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, and Clapper, or whether it's New York prosecutors, they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to hide. What happened? When you have people like Preet Bharara and all these, former attorney generals of New York or high-ranking prosecutors in New York, the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons are based in New York. Uranium One gave $1 million into the Clinton, millions upon millions. The campaign emails, in addition to the DNC emails, there's one person within the Clinton Foundation that states in one of the emails, Bill Clinton Inc., Bill Clinton has 500 conflicts of interest. He enriches himself with his charitable foundation. You can't do that. And so the Clintons, they're worth tens of millions of dollars. They've never owned a business that's functioned. The one business venture they tried to get into was Whitewater. They're not business people. They're not entrepreneurs. So how'd they make their money? Because they sold their souls. They sold themselves. You think that people really care about Clinton's take on the global economy? You think, tell me what you've heard from Clinton regarding the global economy or foreign policy or any topic that you say, wow, this is amazing. Bill Clinton, different story. Bill Clinton, yeah, okay, fine. He was president for 8 years, and actually he does have some insights. You could say he has insights into foreign policy. Whether they're good or bad, he at least has some insights. What has Clinton ever... she pushed for Bush's quagmires. She pushed for the tragedy in Libya. So President Obama's foreign policy destroyed Libya. She used servers outside of the United States government, where she transferred top secret and special access program intelligence onto these servers. That's not only illegal, it's the biggest cybersecurity debacle of all time. And you have these phony, hilarious, comedic, alleged cybersecurity experts on social media, and they're against Trump. And it's like, or these former intel officials, they're against Trump. It's like, okay, if indeed they're such experts and they just say, well, nobody hacked Clinton's emails with top secret intelligence, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not experts at all, or they're completely partisan hacks. So, in terms of the Emoluments clause, they say, well, you know what, he's going to, his hotels are going to alter his foreign policy. It's like, no, he doesn't care. He was rich before, becoming president. He'll be rich and wealthy after. He doesn't need the presidency. If anything, he's losing money. People have convinced themselves, oh, well, he's making a lot of money being president. Really? How? There's not a person on the planet that's received as much negative publicity alongside, media completely ignoring every positive aspect of his presidency. Record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment, record high NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow Jones, record highs. So how do you have the record highs in the stock market and record lows in unemployment? Okay? And then you have the first president to step foot in North Korea, the first president to begin détente between North and South Korea. He signed the First Step Act. He's bringing back Americans, and he's scaling back U.S. foreign policy. He's withdrawing Americans from harm's way. We need to scale back 16 years of failed leadership, failed foreign policy. That's why you go from Bernie to Trump, in addition to other things. He was against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He's going up against China and dealing with a $400 billion trade deficit with tariffs. And we still have record low unemployment, and we still have record high stock market. So tell me how his tariffs are ruining the country. I mean, is everything perfect? No. But the issue here is that you have media, and you have New York politicians, and you have New York prosecutors, and you have a New York political machine, and you have Tammany Hall all over again, based in New York primarily, and D.C., The Democratic Party is not a political party. It's a political machine. So it's 11 minutes in. You gotta credit me for 11 minutes in. Do you honestly think that Clinton gives about an Alabama or Arkansas filing date? Who cares? Why? This is what I don't understand. Why is that a prerequisite to running when you would sweep every single other major state that has like 400 plus delegates, like California and Virginia and North Carolina and Colorado and Texas? Super Tuesday is more than just, and she has time to file for Super Tuesday. So it's like, the filing, there's always a bylaw. So when people say, oh, well, she's not going to run. And one person said, well, you said October. No, I didn't. I said maybe, could be. Don't quote me, I kept saying. And then I'm like, whether it's a week before Super Tuesday or a day or tomorrow, she's running. Whether she misses Super Tuesday, that would be like, okay, now it'll be dicey. But if it's like a day before the convention, she'll twist everyone's arm and then they'll vote for Clinton. People don't understand something. The issue is not with a person like myself, or even Christopher Hitchens was focused on both Clintons. Christopher Hitchens was a brilliant mind and brilliant heart. And he wrote extensively about the Clintons and how they sell themselves to anybody for $1. And how their whole thing is political influence. Clinton, okay, in addition to the fact that, the Golden Muumuu has this unbridled ambition not seen since Attila the Hun. In addition to that, she has people who actually believe that she doesn't want to run, that she just wants to give people advice. Why would she do that? She got 65 million votes. She outspent Trump 2-1. Fine. But why all of this, from the Steele dossier to Trump's taxes to Michael Cohen to Stormy to everything, is a political machine. They have nothing. He didn't commit crimes, Trump. You can say what you like about him. He didn't commit crimes. Clinton did commit crimes. But because that she stands for whatever, she doesn't even stand for Medicare for all. The progressives might as well vote for Trump because they're probably going to get closer to Medicare for all with Trump than they will with Clinton. And neither of which are any interested at all. That's a whole other story. Clinton's going to run. And what have I been telling you? Now you have Bloomberg running. Now you have Eric Holder running. I know that people are losing interest, and these segments about me telling you Clinton's running, they're not that interesting, or people don't want to hear about it. But you sure better believe people will want to hear about it throughout the year when it happens, because they want to understand why she's running. And I will have been telling people since 2017 in the Huffington Post, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. This has always been about a political machine. We've seen political machines, Tammany Hall. There have been other political machines. I mean, on local levels, statewide, political machines throughout the country. Throughout American history. It's not that difficult to understand why this is taking place. You think Bloomberg and Eric Holder believe they're going to become president? They're paving the way for Clinton. You think Biden, Warren, or Bernie Sanders think they're going to become president? This is a complete charade. I keep trying to tell people this, and then I get like, oh, well, she missed the Alabama filing deadline. So what? Who cares? Well, she doesn't want to miss that for the primary. She doesn't care. It's not even, both of them combined aren't even 1/4 of California's primaries. Delegates. The whole thing is rigged anyway. They set guidelines and then they manipulate the guidelines to fit Clinton. There's a secret agreement that Clinton signed. Okay, that Donna Brazile talked about. Money, the DNC was actually a money-making endeavor for Clinton, for her campaign. Then she complained about the DNC. Look, when Clinton runs, it'll be, oh my God, I don't want to, but if people want to vote for me, they can. And instead of the juggernaut of 2016, it'll be the underdog, and everyone will be like, oh my God, she did it. Out of the flames, out of the ashes, she rose up again, and she didn't want to, but she was pulled back in like the Godfather. And then people will believe it. They will actually believe it. Just like they believe that this Democratic primary is not rigged. This is even more rigged than 2016. At least in 2016, Bernie almost won, and he was cheated. They had to cheat Bernie Sanders to ensure he wouldn't win. That's why the DNC emails were an alleged plot by Russia, because they were so afraid of Hillary. Another nonsensical, irrational story. Why would Putin be afraid of an administration or of a Democratic Party that, number one, allowed 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to be sold to a Kremlin-owned company? What screams, what shouts, like Putin is frightened with this scenario? Then you have Bill Clinton meeting with Vladimir Putin. So they have greater ties. And then they're the ones who used foreign sources, but then they say, well, we're hiding behind Comey. Give me your thoughts below. There's no legislative purpose to look at Trump's taxes. The IRS has Trump's taxes. If he had committed some kind of horrendous felony, they would have already known. That's what they do. They audit. So it's not that they have the media, so they'll pump any nonsensical story. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second.